Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the court card of the Page of Stones. And there's going to be another message coming at you about asset allocation. I can feel it. I was hoping that we continue to move on to something different, but obviously this is what Spirit wants you to know. Okay, this is what the universe is focusing on, is, making sure that you're paying attention to what's going on with your assets, your checkbook, your bank book, however you want to look at it. So, the Lynx is a formidable hunter. He's a fierce protector, just like the Queen of Stones, the bear, fierce protector of what they have. But I like to categorize the pages as messengers. We know that Stones is all about security and stability. Okay. But this Lynx, he's a hard worker. All right. This is, probably, like the, most people that are out there, they're hardworking people. They go out there, they, go to their jobs, they work hard at what they do, and they earn their living. But he's very careful the way he goes about as he's, walking around in this tree. Okay. And this is slow energy, similar to the Knight of Stones, which is that horse. So, a lot of slow energy going on around here right now, with Queen of Bows down here twice, or Stones down here twice, and now this page shows up. Okay, so what he's going to do is, where the Queen of Stones, the bear, is very practical, this person or you, okay, is coming across as a Page of Stones, is going to be use their common sense. Okay, they're going to be very practical in what they're doing, but as they're driving down the road, they're going to use their common sense and say, hey, do I really need to stop at that Tim Hortons or Starbucks? Okay, and they're going to be dedicated to that cause that they have. Now, the other good thing about that is pages are, this one enjoys to learn. So you may be putting a new asset allocation practice into practice. Let's say it is, just going past that Starbucks, right? As the page, she's going to look at that and say, you know what, this is good, because there are other opportunities to look at down the road. Okay. And what's the learning process on that? Okay. The learning process is growing within yourself and saying, you know what, I am determined and dedicated to keep moving forward. And he's going to look at that process and say, okay, we don't have to stop for that Starbucks. I can learn from you because you're the teacher and you're showing me how to stay dedicated and determined to the path. Okay. And as they're talking with you on this, they're going to be very authentic. They're going to come at you in such a nice, calm, relaxed, way that, they're going to understand your motives on why you're moving forward. Okay. If this is an aspect that's going on, this could be just another person that wants to learn, what you're doing well. All right. They're going to be very down to earth. And at the same time, they're going to be a very busybody. Okay. They're going to be fidgeting and looking at things to do because they just can't sit still. Okay. And if this is an event, it's an apprenticeship, a study, some sort of training going along. So, the question that the Page of Stones asks is, what can you learn? What can you learn from this situation? Okay, with over the last 14 days, what have you learned? You've learned about your assets. You've got a better aspect on where your checkbook is at, where your pocketbook is at, where your 401k is at, where your IRA is at. Why? Because you've gotten into the habit over these last 14 days to look into it, to understand, where your assets are. Okay, where your spending is. You've looked at your budget. Okay, you see where the money's going in and where the money's coming out, and and how to work that so it's you got more coming in than you do going out, right? So you're learning around all of that. You're also learning around preserving the assets that you do have: house, car, clothes, stuff, food, right? Family. Don't look at family as an asset, but at the same time, when you probably need something, they're there to help. Maybe not financially, but, maybe with a hug or something like that. So you need to, preserve those assets that are there keeping you going. And that's, you know, that's what you've learned over here on the last 14 days. And then the other question that, you know, this Page of Stones, this Lynx asks is, where do you need to be dedicated? Well, driving past that Starbucks or that Tim Hortons, that's dedication. Going to work every day, that's dedication. Knowing that, you know, I need to protect my assets. I need to have that strong foundation, right? That Ace of Stones. Because I do have abundance. And with that abundance, you need to protect it, okay? And, you know, you're focused clearly on what your goals are moving forward. That's what you can learn, and that's where you can be dedicated to your cause. To your cause of growing that abundance. To the cause of, you know, protecting what you're growing, okay? Being dedicated to it, learning more about it. Even if you've got to set up a daily reminder, okay, a daily budget, saying, you know what, this is the most I can spend every day. You know, if you can only spend $5 today and that Starbucks is costing you $7, you're $2 in the hole. That's $2 you got to make up, right? You have to look at how you manage things wisely, you know, more wisely, in order to move that asset allocation ahead. So, you know, this Page of Stones is coming in and asking, you know, what can you learn, but also, you know, how are you going to be dedicated to that learning? Every day, looking at it, every day, understanding it, every day, whether it's a failure or a success. Congratulate yourselves. You know, hey, man, I'm $5 in the hole today. That's okay. Tomorrow's another day. You learned, okay? Tomorrow you won't stop at that burger joint and get that $5 Happy Meal, okay? Because it's not a Happy Meal. It's a sorrow meal, really, if you think about it. You just spent $5 and you know you shouldn't have. So, you know, use those lessons wisely and stay dedicated to that goal and to that path of asset allocation. So that's today's card of the day, the Page of Stones, the Lynx out of the Wildwood Tarot deck. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others. And this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.